In Washington today, you cannot fix Washington. Washington was created in deception starting in 1868. The 41st Congress changed Washington to a corporate-style government and gave it an area of jurisdiction of 100 square miles, which is known as Washington, D.C., or the District of Columbia today. In 1974, some of the land was taken back from Washington, and today Washington is 68 square miles. Anyone who claims to be a citizen of the United States, under legal definition of the United States, is pledging their allegiance to Washington, D.C. or the District of Columbia. They are not Americans. You can be a U.S. citizen or you can be an American, but you can't be both. It's impossible. Anyone who claims to be a citizen of the United States, under legal definition of the United States, is pledging their allegiance to Washington, D.C. or the District of Columbia. They are not Americans. You can be a U.S. citizen or you can be an American, but you can't be both. It's impossible. The total jurisdictional authority and territory of the corporation in Washington is the District of Columbia, period. It has never been legislated any differently than that. So, why is the District of Columbia ruling over the states in America? Well, they're doing it, go back to the implied consent that we talked about earlier. They are using the implied consent of the people because we are not saying no. You can throw everybody out of Washington. You can vote every single one out. You can change the president, change the entire Congress, and you cannot change Washington. It was created in deception. It has operated in deception since 1868. You can't change Washington. Washington is what it is. A leopard cannot change its spots. They cannot turn over a new leaf because the laws are designed for them to deceive, lie, and cheat the American people.
How did the American people lose the original constitutional republic?
Well, first of all, everybody thought we still had the same system of government that we always had. They never told us what was going on. The government was changed without the consent of the people, and it's very clear in the Declaration of Independence that they governed by the consent. Well, under our system of law, for them to alter or abolish or change anything in the Constitution, they have to go to the people. From 1868 through 1882, where the primary changes were done, Congress never once asked the people what they wanted, and they had no authority to move forward. We get our authority from the Declaration, the Constitution. That's what we have embraced. Now, about 30 years ago, a group of sovereigns began to study the law because we'd been dumbed down. We didn't know what was going on. We had no idea what had been done to the American people. But we began to study and read the law. And all of a sudden, things started showing up. It's all in there. It's all recorded, but it's hidden. But when we started doing thousands, and many people across the country started doing studies, all of us people in interest in the law, and it was part of movement across this nation to wake up the people of America. All of this was orchestrated to people up, and they began to study, and they began to learn that the keys to their freedom was in the law already, and we just uncovered those keys, and we brought them out, and we began to use them. And we discovered that they never got our consent to do away with our republic. It's been done without the consent of the people, and therefore is unlawful. It is legal because we have given our implied consent. And implied consent works like this. If you're holding a cup of coffee and drinking a cup of coffee, and I walk up to you and I take that cup of coffee away from you and you don't say no or you don't protest, whose coffee is it? It's my coffee now. But if I try to take it away from you and you don't let me have it, you get to keep the coffee, right? That's the way implied consent works. The people did not say no. And so the government, in their legal system, decided that that is because they didn't protest. They didn't say no. Well, the people are standing up now by the thousands across America and joining with this republic and saying no. And now the legal system is in jeopardy because they cannot continue to operate without the consent of the people. And the people are not granting them that consent anymore. So they have no authority, and we have all the authority. It is recorded in history, and it has never been repealed.
Why is there a two-party system in America today?
Well, basically, the two-party system that we have today in Washington was created by the bankers. The bankers created the Democratic and Republican system of government to appear that the people really had a voice when they didn't. They created a controversy by two houses of Congress to entertain the people, basically, so that they could promote their agenda without the people realizing what they were doing. And their agenda was to steal the wealth of America. This has been going on for a long time. And the people today are in a system of slavery. The 14th Amendment did not free the slaves, it just made millions of more slaves. Today, your personal property and the public property that we all own together, supposed to own as sovereigns, has been taken even without our knowledge or our will or our consent, and it's not lawful to do that. In the Republic, you will receive your property back. You will actually be landowners again. You will not pay property taxes. You will not have income taxes. You will not have unlawful taxes. And the cost of living will go down considerably. Industry will explode in this nation, and the people will be blessed again.
The radiation rate is 9.
From a Magnum manipulator in operating cell 94107.
Erratic visual behavior.
Transfer control information.